My
Shucks.
drink. Pretty please. And it would appear that we are live, my friend. So let's
Hmm.
see if anybody notices. Both people will notice. Both
All
of them.
two.
Both of
Your
them.
mom and your dad.
Yes, not my dad. He's dead, but
Oh, shit. Well, this is starting well.
Yes, this is the big. This is the best conversation ever. I'm getting prompts that it's working, so there we go. If you're just joining the stream, this is the first time ever. I'm hanging with my buddy Mike because I was all like, I want to hang with like kick-ass guitar players, so I'm going to call my buddy Mike up. And Mike was like, "Yeah, I am kick-ass." So we're here with Mike. What's up, Mike?
Verbatim. What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm much better now for having seen you.
Oh, jeez. So all the compliments, man.
It's
I'm gonna
it's,
be.
all,
I'm
it's
gonna
how it
leave here.
works, buddy.
Yeah.
Peter's in this. Is this really live? Yes, Peter, it is live, dude. We're attempting it right now. This is crazy. Peter says hi, I assume. Mike, I want to talk to you because you live in Calgary, which is the closest province to me on the West Coast, basically, and you're a hell of a guitar player. Let's be real. Let's not be modest. You're fucking
man.
sick, dude.
Thanks, dude. I have my good days and bad days, I guess.
Well, based on what you were doing before we went live, this is definitely a good day.
Oh, thank you.
Guys, Mike's been a friend of mine for years. I think we met in like 2010.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. About that time.
You were playing in a metal
Maybe.
band. I was playing in a metal band. Your metal band was dope. Mine was just dope by association. And we played these small Albertan towns together. And then you were a huge theory guy, and I really wanted to learn more. And I never let you get away from me after that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I think it was one of the loudest hells where we really got super close. Just like nerding out over theory, or I was nerding out to you about theory. But yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, 2010, 2011, maybe. I'm not too sure when our first show was, but yeah, we always got along really well.
Yeah, and you made quite an awesome career for yourself as a session player, right?
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, COVID has been making it interesting, but yeah, basically, all else fails was that said metal band, and we started to slow down, but I didn't want to, so I started playing like blues gigs and pop gigs and stuff like that in Edmonton. Eventually moved to Calgary and started doing more country stuff, and that turned into like I just kind of built a name in the country thing, and then that kind of turned into a lot of stuff. So now I do pop, rock, blues, whatever, and lots of sessions too. So yeah, it's cool.
And don't discount, like, if anybody's watching this right now, don't discount how insanely difficult it is for Mike to be that versatile. I mean, to do pop and country and jazz. Did you say jazz? Was I just blowing smoke?
I have played jazz. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't call myself like a jazz guy, but for sure, a lot of those pop gigs, a lot of the corporate stuff that I do, we kind of like the weddings would start out as like big band stuff, and like super swing, and then kind of work your way into modern pop. And yeah, jazz is demanding.
Yeah, no kidding, man. But I mean, you got I just want to get right to it. You got a sick chicken picking ability that I'm going to admit to people, I'm insanely jealous, man. I could never grasp my that around. It was just a skill that I'm like, son of a bitch.
Well, you know what? It was funny. I mean, I have a guitar. Wow, a guitar! Where did this come from?
What?
But I mean, a lot of it came. I think for me, it was a pretty easy transition because when I played jazz, like I always just liked the sound of that more rather than right. So I always did my chords with my fingers whenever I played jazz. So it was fairly easy. I was already pretty comfortable hybrid picking, and then you just gotta like kind of ham it up a little, just like throwing more attitude, I guess.
Dude,
more
give us a couple licks, man. Come on.
Wrong pickup.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. What else? Oh, this is cool.
Oh, I love it. I love it. The chat's going nuts. They love your playing, man. Keep
Oh, sweet.
that's
Feeling
so
the
great.
pressure for sure.
Guys, for anybody that doesn't know what Mike's doing, hybrid picking is loosely like he's holding his pick with his thumb and forefinger while the other fingers are still hitting other strings. It's
Yeah.
guys like me just ham it up and try and sweep, because that makes us seem like we're cool. But this is dude, that's my thing. Don't do my thing too. Damn it. Damn it.
I started as a sweep picker. Picker. And just do everything major. Just everything is a mixolydian scale. Basically, that's how you do country. Right? Just make everything mix up.
I love it. So you live, let's just call it Calgary, right? Like, so like full blown Calgary, capital city. Am I wrong? It's the capital city of Alberta.
No, Edmonton's the capital.
I always get those mixed up. But you're in one of the major cities, and Calgary is actually known for something called the Stampede when COVID's not a thing.
Yeah.
Stampede.
Yeah.
You as a session player, do you have like a shitload of gigs at that time?
Oh yeah, dude. It's mental. It's mental. Usually anybody like, so it's a 10-day event. Goes like the Friday is when it opens up, and then it closes the week after on the Sunday. And usually in that time, I'll play average like 14 to probably 20, 25 shows in 10 days with tons of different bands. Like, you know, so, and the weirdest thing about the Stampede is a lot of it books up super last minute. So the amount of times that I've like, oh, you know, like, so it's usually the first weekend of July, and like end of June, I'm like, oh, my Stampede's, you know, not looking great. And then I end up being totally booked, and you're like charting gigs and sight reading on, like, I use, here's a number chart. I don't know if you guys can see this. No, probably not very well, but I can send you a number chart that I've done. And it's, you know, I just do all these number charts, and then that way if they call out different keys or whatever, you're just able to just change on the fly, right? Because like you got G, C, and D in the key of G major, G, A, B, C, D. So you call that 1, 4, 5. Right. And if somebody wants it to move to A, you know, you just move everything over. So now it becomes A is the 1, D is the 4, and E is the 5. So numbers are just a little bit easier to kind of change keys, and there's a lot of standards that you're playing in the country world, or in the Stampede world, that singers will just do in different keys, right? You know, like females doing male tunes are usually moving up by either a major third or a fourth. So if it's in G, they're moving into the key of C, or like B or B flat, which is super common. And yeah, like you don't really have time to figure it out on the gig. We don't have rehearsals, so you just show up and you play, and you gotta kill it.
I like that's the thing, guys. Is he's talking here about live changing keys for songs without rehearsing? Like that's absurd, dude. Yeah. Absolutely absurd.
I mean, like I've ran through this stuff on my own. I'll know what key the band is doing it in. They're not calling it out on stage, but you know. There's been times where in the same week I've played the same song in 4 or 5 different keys during the Stampede. So you gotta like, yeah.
What's like the most popular standard done at Stampede, do you think?
Oh, probably Wagon Wheel.
Oh, Jesus.
It's the most popular song ever. I hate that song.
No. I've had to teach that so many times. No.
Yeah.
I like how we both got visibly depressed there. It was just the demeanor.
I'm trying to. Oh, you know what it is? It's Cadillac Ranch. I think at this point in my career, I've now played in all 12 keys.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not a good song, but I've played it in all 12 keys because everybody wants to play it, but nobody wants to do it in the original.
Oh my God, that's amazing. It's not a good song, but I've done it.
Yeah.
Dude, guys in the chat, please make sure to like that. But if anybody wants to ask Mike a direct question, Mike's got a shitload of songs he's got to learn tonight. So I don't want to keep him around. But if you guys want to ask Mike a direct question, leave it in the chat right now, and I'll ask Mike for you. Stuff. How do you do sweeps? How do you attack it in a nutshell? Mike? Fancy
How do I
Pants
do sweep?
XRP43, Fancy Pants, is asking, how do you do sweeps? How do you attack it in a nutshell?
I mean, so basically you're doing a triad, right? The sweeps that I learned. You can get really fancy with them, but a triad is broken chords, right? So let's take A minor. You're going to start, there's a couple of shapes that you use. One of the ones that I really liked was this one here, right? E, A, C, E. So it's just that triad right here. So what is that? 9th fret on your 3rd string, 10th fret on your 2nd, 8th on your 1st, and here. And then the trick in sweeping is all in this right hand. You're not picking individually. A lot of people try to like, but you're just dragging it. Get that feel. And you want to mute the strings you're not playing. So you got to find this little place where your hand goes. And then over time, you just add more notes. Ooh, that was a rake on the way up. It wasn't a string.
What do you mean by adding more notes? That might be a question they'd want to know.
Sure. I mean, so eventually I kind of was getting into stuff where you could do bigger arpeggios, right? So some of the stuff that I really like is instead of just like a minor chord is adding that 9, right? Right? Or the 11. So there, what I'm doing is I'm adding a B and a D on the top. So I'm grabbing my basic arpeggio, C, E, G, B, E, or you can do like, some stuff like you could do a minor 7, right? A, G. Or if you wanted to get weird and have like, add like the Dorian sound to it,
Oh, Dorian. What does Dorian mean?
Dorian is the second mode of your major scale. So it basically is your minor, but this 6th note we're raising up to a sharp. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. And it just fits a little bit better. Maybe not so much in metal. Metal usually will use that kind of the flat 6. But in the style that I play, you can do a lot of stuff with Dorian.
Dude, have you heard of this Wes Hauck guy?
No, I need to check him out.
Dude, Jesus, Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Like,
words.
I have never seen a son of a bitch so good at Hungarian Gypsy Minor. I have never seen it.
Know that scale.
He sets it up so nice, and in weird keys for someone like me, like C minor and shit. Very weird. But I might send you some links and pretend and gush a little bit because he's my favorite right now.
Does he use horn players or like play in a jazz setting?
No, it's straight metal context.
Oh, crazy! Yeah, C minor is super common in jazz.
It's blowing me away, and he does a lot of the hybrid picking, but it's like elusive hybrid picking. You're not even aware it's going on. You're like, oh shit! And straight up, just guitar player to guitar player, his phrasing is ridiculous.
Yeah, guitar players are bad for not phrasing well. It's so easy. We don't got to breathe on our instrument, so we can just play through everything.
Yeah.
It's important to phrase.
Fancy Pants is asking if you know Brain Drill or Rings of Saturn because he loves how they do their sweeps.
I mean, I know of them. I don't know any of their songs.
Brain Drill's ridiculous, buddy.
They are. Yeah, dude. I remember when they came out, just like, yeah, it's like a drill to your brain. It's
so good.
Very aptly named,
So good. Azul's asking how we know each other. Azul, Mike is one of the dudes I met on tour that basically told me indirectly I'm a shitty guitar player and I should practice.
No, I never. Words never came out of my mouth. Slander.
And to this day, whenever Without Mercy tours Calgary, I harass the shit out of Mike to please come have lunch with me at a shitty Boston Pizza.
And I do the same when I'm in Vancouver, Abbotsford.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Genuinely one of the nicest dudes I know, Mike.
Yeah.
Straight up especially in the metal world, man. Everybody's kind of fake sometimes, and always like gunning for you in a weird way. It's really messed up. You're always super rad to me. And I always, like, touring is blast and playing shows is a blast, but hanging with people like you backstage or side stage and just nerding out over what key was that? What was that thing? What was this?
Right.
So dope. Even just now telling you, have you heard of Wes? Buddy, it's a game changer.
I'm making a Post-it note right now. Oh, I guess you're going to send me stuff, aren't you?
Oh, I'm going to just obliterate your inbox, dude. It's going to happen, buddy. But for those of you watching the stream, Mike does have to go because he's so professional. He's got to learn 80 bloody songs in an afternoon because that's what he does. Hacks like me stick with Smoke on the Water, but Mike's over here doing jazz and country standards like a son of a bitch.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for having me be a part of this, man. It was a lot of fun.
Dude, it's like we're starting it strong with the killer dudes, man. So thank you so much. And
Thanks,
everybody in the chat says that you're a dope-ass human. So, I mean, they figured it out.
Thank you. You know what? I just, as we were talking, I thought of a sweep that you guys could use. It's more of an arpeggio.
Oh,
so I mentioned like minor 9 sound, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you can do it in any key. I'm going to pick A minor, right? Because I'm a sucker for A minor. So what you're going to do?
Minor. There's a joke in there, buddy.
It's fuck.
There's a joke in there, bud. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Easy. I set myself up for that one. Jesus. So, I mean, I guess this would be more of an arpeggio than an actual, like, sweep, necessarily. I can't play it fast. I literally thought about it while we were talking, so I've never practiced this before. But if you started here on your 2nd fret, 5th string, slide up, it sounds like a major triad, right? But over that minor, right? 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 That was pretty sloppy, but... And then you can, like... you can make it fancier. And it's just an easy way to get from here to here.
Easier.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds cool, and it just doesn't sound like that. So,
dude.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's super cool. I'm just shitty at it.
Oh my god. Fancy Pants wants to know, is your guitar a broadcaster?
No, it is not.
No,
it's a Fender Tele.
Fender Tele.
No, it's just, you know what? It's hilarious. It looks like it comes from that age, for sure. The broadcaster was made back, like, it was... I think that was the original Tellys that were made, and then there was a while that they didn't even have a name, because I think there was something with Gibson that they had a broadcaster or something. So there was a time they had a no-caster. But this neck, I basically, before one of the Stampedes, I got it refretted, and whatever the guy used to like re-lacquer the neck, I just chewed through it. And so this is like a 2011. 2014. It's not even that old, but this neck is just gnarly. I mean, I've played, usually I play about 150 to 150 plus shows every single year, and they're usually 3 hours a night, plus all the practicing I do. Like this thing has been all over the place. You can't see it so well, but it was like pearly white, and now it's like this off stain yellow, and just like this thing has seen some shit. So yeah, it's a pretty well used guitar.
Damn, brother. Damn.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay, my friend, I'm gonna let you get to it, and I can't believe you spent some time with me like this, man. I appreciate you.
Dude, I will do it any day of the week.
All right.
Let me know next time. All right, man.
Dude, thank you so much. Brother. We'll chat soon.
You bet. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. That was my buddy Mike. This is a surprise live right now. What's up, Tom Cruise? What's up, Zool? Fancy Pants, Nick, James, Luis. Welcome. We're doing a surprise live right now, testing this new setup for the interview segment that we want to bring. Judah and I have been here. It's mostly him, and I'm going to take the credit for the work that Judah did, because that's the kind of piece of shit I am. But we're just hanging out. And next up, I got my buddy Big Ugly Jim, as he likes to be called. He's gonna pop in. Jim is a rad human being, and we're gonna see if we can get this going on a multi guest kind of scenario right now. So I'm going to send Jim the link, and we're going to bring him in, and it should just probably prompt me, right? Or I'm not even in the meeting anymore. Oh no. Oh snap. Hang on. This is why we practice. This is why we practice. I'm going to do this and click this and then do a thing and another thing and a thing with the peoples and the stuff. How you guys doing? Oh my goodness. Get this open. That should hopefully fix, I think. And giving Judah a heads up, we'll probably have some size up issues or something, I'm sure. Use the magic finger. Oh, man. Good to see you, Nick. Thanks for jumping in the chat, my friend. For anybody that just saw, that was my buddy, Mike. Mike is a sick player based out of Calgary. I've known him for a long-ass time. And now we got Jim coming into the chat. Will Jim's audio be instant as well? Or do you have to do something? Do
you want it to start muted?
Yeah, ideally.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, homie G?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
Pretty good. We're just trying to line up the screen. I've already got your audio, so it don't matter, my man.
I'm just going to make sure my video is working because it looks like it's using the wrong camera. So if I click on here and go with that, there we go. I'm going to turn this light on so I'm more beautiful. Hey!
Look at that.
How you doing, brother?
Pretty good, man. We've got you we are streaming live right now on all the platforms.
Excellent.
And guys, this is my friend Jim. He likes to be called Big Ugly Jim. I don't know why, because he's a handsome son of a bitch.
Well, it's you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Hey, man. No need for Viagra when I'm around.
Yeah. How have you been, brother?
I have been good. It is very, very hot today. I did not sleep super well last night, so I'm a little overtired because of the heat.
Yeah.
But I am blessed to hang with people like you and this wonderful chat group of people that's in here. I'm still learning where the camera frames are at. But there.
I'm still learning that too, man. I've been live streaming for like a year now, and I keep going, oh yeah, look over here. I mean, here, down there, whatever.
Yeah. So guys, if you're just joining us, this is my friend Jim. He is basically one of the top promoters in the city of Calgary. If you guys are in a band of like pretty much any genre, you call up Jim. Him and the Calgary Beer Corps will hook you the hell up. Because frankly, I'm going to call you out on this, buddy, live here on the thing. We won't play for anybody else anymore. Without Mercy is like, no, we're good, man. We're just going to keep dealing with Mark and Jim and the CBC. Because you guys do this crazy thing where you hold to a standard and demand that the bands get treated well. It's this weird thing. It's like you've invented it, you know?
It's surreal. I know. It's weird because, like, you know, you always hear about the shady music promoter that shows up and, like, you know, wants to make the big bucks. And I'm just laughing like, dude, you don't know what promoting is.
Well, you were one of the first ones. I remember this because, like, when we started Without Mercy, I had dreams of the Calgary Beer Corps knowing who we were. I really wanted you guys to know who we were.
Yep.
And you're one of the first, you specifically were one of the first promoters to, like, we're setting up on stage, and usually promoters are just screaming at you, like, you're 5 minutes behind, and that's it, cut a song. I remember you looking me dead in the face going, do you need anything? Do you need water? Is your cables working? Like, what do you need, man? And I was like, wow, this guy actually gives a shit. This was cool.
That's how we do. That's the beauty of, you know, Mark and I we were musicians that were, you know, playing shows in bars, getting frustrated with the way shows were run. And Mark started the Beer Corps. I came on a couple years later, and that's always been our whole thing is we are musicians. We know what a good show looks like. We know how to make bands feel welcome and cared for and part of the family. And just as a result, we get the best out of them. So, you know, it works for everybody. It's a win-win.
100%, man. And you guys do killer shows. And even when the universe is against you, like I remember one time you asked Without Mercy to come out. We're like, hell yeah, we'll come out. And then like the venue kept closing. Like you were literally losing venues. They were going out of business. It was insane, dude.
That was a rough time.
Insane. But inevitably you found one, I think like Brass Monkey or something. And,
I don't even remember. Yeah, it was. I think it was like it wasn't the Brass Monkey because that's like the Smitty's bar, but it was something like that, like the Scornful Dog or whatever. And yeah, it was way down in the middle of nowhere, and had a blast. The first time I walked in, I looked at Mark and I was like, "Are you kidding? Like we're doing shows here?" Because it's like a biker bar in the middle of nowhere,
right?
And I'm like, this is cool. And like literally we're in the bar for like 10 minutes and some giant biker guy walks up and like bumps into Mark accidentally. And Mark's like, what the fuck, man? And I was like, okay, well, we're going to die, but I'll die swinging. I'm cool with that. And then the guy left and Mark's like, this is the thing you need to understand about bikers. If I had said, oh, I'm sorry, sir, he would have basically pissed on me all night. So instead I gave him some shit and he was like, got you.
Wow. I remember because we talk about shit in between gigs because like if anybody's watching, when you tour in Canada, it's like 11 hours between towns a lot of times. It's pretty rough. And we were leaving, and it was just a universal thing in the band. We had a photographer with us at the time, and we like 5 of us in the van driving. We were all talking like, man, if shit went down, I feel like Jim and Mark would just deal with it, and we wouldn't just see guys getting thrown off stage. It would have been awesome.
The reality is that in the Beer Corps' earlier years, there was a lot more hard nights and fighting. Now we're kind of an age where Mark and I just walk up to someone who's acting a fool and we go like, you're being a child. You need to stop that or you're going to have to leave. And they'll be like, yeah, you know what? I actually get where you're right. I feel bad about the way can I buy you a shot?
Nice.
Yeah, it's partly because we're giant monsters and also partly because we don't come in freaking out and like, throwing fists anymore.
Yeah.
Too old for that shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the chat's going nuts here. They love you, Jim. They absolutely love you.
Thank you, guys.
The thing about Jim is, and Mike before, nothing to discount Mike, but Jim and Mike are like salt of the earth people, man. I don't want to do this. Like this whole thing that we're starting here tonight, we're testing the equipment and stuff. And Jim, yeah, you've been a huge help helping us get this freaking set up, man.
My pleasure.
But I don't want to talk to assholes. I don't.
No, it's not worth the time.
I just want to hang with my friends. And if this is what it comes to because of COVID and stuff, this is dope, man. So Whoever is watching this stream right now, this is my friend Jim. He's a fucking sweetheart. I love this guy. And
this is my friend DJ. He's just a remarkably kind, wonderful person. And also, I don't know if you know this, killer guitar player.
Well,
killer guitar player.
Maybe the first part, but they all just watch Mike Sands play some. So I don't.
I saw Mike playing too. He's phenomenal.
Mike's
absolutely phenomenal. But you guys have different styles, and I would put good money that Mike could totally outdo you, but wouldn't.
Except in open mouth kissing, where I am the world champion.
Well, yeah, I still got bruises.
Yeah, hey man. It's about the gums, man. If you've had popcorn, I'd know.
Oh, definitely. If I've had cancer, you'd know.
Judah's over here on my left, super uncomfortable with this right now. Guys, when we were testing the first one before we had the technology to go live, Jim and Judah just going back and forth. Judah was just not cool with it. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. I love it.
Yep.
So we got the chat going right now, and guys, if you want to ask Jim a question directly, please just type it in the chat, and I will ask it for him. And him and I are just going to keep telling stories. If you're down, Jim,
fuck yeah,
keep telling some hilarious stories. I'm curious. What is a memory that you have of me and the guys Without Mercy?
I think my favorite memory of you guys started before you guys were aware of the situation, or you probably were, but anyways, was Nate Trash's, I think it was either his birthday or the last World Class White Trash show. I can't remember which one, but he'd asked you guys to come out.
Right.
And he calls me up and he's like, I asked Without Mercy, like, are we going to be able to, like, we don't need to get paid. And I was like, we'll figure this out. Don't worry about it. Well, I'm sure we can bring in enough bodies. Everyone's going to have a good night. We'll guarantee Without Mercy, no problem. And, but I'm giggling because I'm like, this show's going to slay. Like, I'm not worried about like, oh no, some band's going home with $40 and a couple of condoms. And you guys roll in, and you and I remember you were chatting with me, and I honestly, I don't remember if it was Nate Trash's birthday or the last World Class White Trash show, but you were like, pulled me aside and you're like, it was so cool to be invited, like, oh my god, this what an honor. And I was like, yeah man, Calgary loves you. Vancouver is not worth your time. Fuck those people. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Not all the way wrong. There's good people in Vancouver. The same way that, there's good people that are, like, sorry, my kid just walked in just like only a pair of shorts. Nice. He's 17 and like scrawny as hell. And I see this movement and I look and I'm like, that's a mostly naked kid. Thank goodness for that. So yeah, but yeah, it was just such a wholesome moment. Where, because I sometimes think you guys don't realize, like, what you guys do is so good, and it's super in line with a contingent of Calgary bands. So we've always got people to put you with, we've got people that'll compliment you, people that'll contrast, and it's an easy sell when we're like, hey, Without Mercy's coming. People that know local live music in Calgary are like, oh, I would like to come to the show, please, because you guys shred. And that's hard work, and you've earned it. And I'm always just super fucking thrilled to be able to work with you guys.
I appreciate that, dude. It's weird. We've said it before. Specifically me. I've said it before in interviews and stuff, where you get so locked into the zone of what you're building and working on that you don't notice if anybody cares. It's very strange. It's very, very, very strange. And well,
I think also because like I've done this myself, where I've been in bands that in the beginning people don't understand, and I don't mean like, well, we were doing some like symphonic goth industrial, but at the same time sort of all over driven, nothing like that. But like, I played in a folky rock and roll band, and people were like, neat story, guy, you were playing the folk music, and kind of like every time I step outside. You have that phase where you'll be able to tell that there are people who are no longer enjoying what you are doing, and so what I learned at a fairly young age, because I was a terrible musician when I started, was, hey, I don't fucking care what you think, and you sort of put those blinders on, and when people come up and like, oh my god, that was so amazing, you're like, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that, but it's like in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, for us. We struggled a lot, just being transparent, everyone. We struggled a lot with self-doubt. It was a huge problem for us. We actually just, I don't know if you and I had the chance to talk, but we just finished our terrible management contract. It was awful, Jim. It borderline broke us.
Holy shit.
Everything about it was just awful. And like, of course, NDAs exist, so you can't just tell the world, hey, you guys basically screwed us. That's amazing. But we had to take a year off. We released a bloody record, not sure if we were still going to be a band. Like, it was terrible, dude. But
all that shit adds to all the struggles of bands going through, and creates friction, because everyone's got a side in the game, and no one's going like, no, the contract's clear. It's that like there's just so much already, and then the little things flare up, and like that, yeah, it can absolutely be the end of a band to have to deal with some crappy outside, whether it's a booker or whatever, management.
Yeah. And we worked really hard on a record. Guys, if you're watching this is my friend Jim. He's basically the top promoter in Calgary. Jim is privy to having booked Without Mercy so many times. You probably witnessed us writing the record, coming out to you guys, performing it, then rewriting it because we didn't like the responses and stuff.
I remember you guys showed up at I think it was Distortion, and you were like, you haven't heard any of our songs tonight. It's all brand new material. And afterwards I was like, that was so good. And you were like, yeah, It wasn't quite that overt, but I picked up on the fact that I just chalked it up to, okay, yeah, you're trying out new material, fucking drummer missed a beat, or like one of those kind of things. Like, it didn't seem like a thing, but yeah, I recall that night very clearly.
Yeah, it was good. I can't remember if it was you or you were Mark, but one of you said, I'm paraphrasing here, but one of you said something like, I feel like I've heard the song before, but now it's different.
That sounds like a Mark thing. Not just because it sounds stupid, because I say dumb shit all the time, but no, I feel like that's probably a Mark quote, and that's very classic Mark Russell.
Yeah, it was fun to write the record, and the record has come out. If anybody wants to buy it, shameless self promotion, but we're super proud of it now, man. It manifested to something that, like, all four of us are like, fuck yes.
It's literally like I had to wait. I'm pretty sure I got a CD. Like, I ordered a CD earlier or something. I don't really recall because I don't have a CD player.
No.
So I waited until it was on Bandcamp, and then I downloaded it, and it's so good. So fucking good.
Oh, thanks, man. We're not sure if we could have done anything more. To the point where the 11th hour, it's like a week before we're recording it, and Alex, our vocalist, said, I hate this one song, Wendigo. We have to, like, rewrite Wendigo front to back. And I'm like, Wendigo's a crowd favorite. They love it. He's like, yeah, but I don't love it. Okay, and those of you guys, if we've never spoken of this before, we have a giant whiteboard in our rehearsal spaces. And the rule was, if any member of the band dislikes any aspect of anything, of any of the songs we're about to go spend $40,000 because we're idiots and that was the price tag, to record this record, we're going to redo the whole thing. It doesn't matter how much we were pissed at the person for bringing it up. And yeah, it actually turns out to be a killer song now, in my opinion, if I can say that about my own material.
I would agree.
But
and for those watching at home, let me tell you, there is nothing going to be better for you tonight than going to sleep with a little Without Mercy and their absolute chart-topping album, Seismic.
I see you got the check. Great.
It's appreciated.
We got some questions here. Let's see.
Hey,
we got Jim. Any bands this is from Fancy Pants. Jim,
okay.
Any bands that you promoted turned out rewarding? Maybe the band Cryptopsy.
So obviously member of Cryptopsy. Just kidding. I don't think we ever booked Cryptopsy. I'm pretty sure Cryptopsy came to Calgary and played, and I think it was Isaac at the Stetson's show. We've booked some fantastic bands. Honestly, sorry, is the question, have I booked anyone that sort of went on to coolness, or?
Yeah, I could be interpreting this wrong, Fancy Pants, so let me know. But maybe what's some of the dopest bands you've booked, or the dopest?
Oh, I would say the dopest bands I've booked, old school BDFM. I know that's, Mark's in that band and it's calling his number, but the power that band had on stage is like nothing else. I'm talking locally. I mean, if you want to talk bigger bands, I can name drop like a cool guy, but in terms of local bands, especially if you're not from the greater Calgary area, check these bands out. So BDFM's no longer a band. I'm pretty sure you can find everything they've ever done on the interwebs. It stands for Beer Drinking Fighting Machines.
Of course.
And then I would suggest Black Pestilence, who are like deathy thrash band that are fucking phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Mark and I always fight whether they're punk or metal, because they're just that exact perfect pissed off music, pissed off. And they're so good. You'll love them. Check them out. There's so many bands, and now I'm like, Truck's a great example. You know Casey from Truck.
Yep.
Incredible prog-ish instrumental band. They're so much fun. Their song titles, they don't have a singer, so it's all instrumental, so they can just call their songs whatever they want. So they have song titles like Ben Stiller's Missing Jacket.
What?
That's a song off their album Passengers, available in Bandcamp and things, I think.
Well, I'm going to interject here and say
Sure.
My all-time favorite Calgary band is Exit Strategy.
Yep. Phenomenal.
We were on tour and played in Red Deer at the Vat, which is a great venue. I hope it's still around. I heard rumors it wasn't, but
I'm not sure. I've heard the same rumors, but I haven't seen it in concrete.
yeah. I was kind of in a bad place with the band and just being a musician. We were going through some shit. It was dark. And I was basically done. I was like on that tour going like, yeah, I think I'll say some goodbyes. I'll see Jim tomorrow night and I'll just kind of run by. Because you're a rad dude. You've been a good sounding board to me when I got some shit going on and stuff.
Oh, happy to.
And we played right after Exit Strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to see Wes do his sound check where he's just like, sandwich. And it was...
Yep.
And they started playing and I was like, no, I'm back. Yeah. This is pretty cool. And I had walked right up to them and said, you guys are the shit. Like they're so, guys, check out their album, The Atrocity Machine. I still think it's one of the best things this country's ever put out. I would put them right up there with Strapping Young Lad. And for those of you who don't know, I love Strapping Young Lad. And that they're awesome. And then the greatest honor to me was like maybe 6 months later, we were playing together a lot. You guys were booking them with us and we were super jacked. And they were watching us like, holy shit. And then we will watch them like, holy shit. And there was like this thing back and forth. And like Wes is a sweetheart. And Joe is just another ginger guitar player. So it's dope. We got along there. I used to joke that Joe and I, when we sat beside each other, we're like Pokemon. He's the further evolved version. Like you come to me and then you evolve into Joe after. Which is,
that's a clever way to think about it. Yeah, there are some striking similarities.
Yes. Joe is an amazing musician and, again, just a sweetheart of a human too. Like they all were.
Yep.
All were.
And Joe, like when I first met Joe, so I knew Joe from his days in Thorazine, which is like 100 years ago. A huge Calgary metal band that was like touring the world and shit. Not like huge in the, we're Opeth kind of way, but more like huge, like we're the band that got to open for Opeth because we're in town kind of way.
Oh, okay.
But just so fucking fun. And he's been playing music ever since. When I first met him, I was like super intimidated, and he's so quiet and kind. It's just weird, but awesome.
He's amazing, and his wife is just. I remember meeting her at a show, and I think it was at Distortion, which was my favorite venue, buddy.
I love that room.
Like, guys, you don't even know what it feels like to be an underground band and show up at a venue where they treat you like you're the headliner of a stadium. Like, here's the green room. We painted it red as a joke. And, like, here's this room, and you guys need drinks. Tabs over there. Do the thing over here. And somebody outside accosting us for money or whatever. And Mark just, like, kicking open the door. I fucking told you. If I have to tell you again, see this foot? You see this foot? And he's like, hey DJ. I'm like, oh hey Mark. It was awesome. But I loved it. And I met this wonderful person, this lady. She was so nice. She said, oh hey DJ, how's things going? Your band, oh do you have this size? I'd like to get the shirt. I'm like, oh this woman is dope. I don't even know who you are. And then like you see she's Joe's wife and you're like, oh yeah, well, that's why. You're both wicked people. John Morgan's asking a question in the chat, and this is a great one. What is the most important thing for a promoter? Money, skills, contacts, experience with tech, willingness to break heads, and why is that the most important thing?
I will pick an option E. Okay. I think, and I have a very particular approach to putting on shows, and I we're not going to be booking massive Saddle Dome or the PNE or anything like that. My thinking on it as a promoter, the most important skill you can have is to be approachable and honest. And approachable comes in two forms. Obviously, bands are, there's always, bands need to talk to you and you need to talk to bands. And if you're kind of not approachable, they don't get it. But the other thing, and this is what I think originally made Beercore stand out, is we would put on a show and there'd be like this band over here and this band over here and this band over here. And we'd be like, okay, guys, come on, we're all switching it up. And we'd make people mingle in the different bands. And that helped to, sort of like our gregarious nature, brought other people out of their shell, made people, in these situations where they have to chat with each other. And it started to form all of these relationships between bands. Because Calgary at the time, the biggest things you could do would be like battle of the bands things, where you don't build community, you just build animosity.
Yeah, I agree. I hated those, and I hated them so much. There was the shit out here for years. What were they called?
Supernova.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Oh,
They were here too, man.
oh, buddy, and they were like, "Oh, if you sell 100 tickets, we'll give you 10% of the profit over of the reverse thing
Yeah.
with the stuff." And I'm like, "How about you just like let us play?"
Yeah, I only ever played one show for that particular company, and it was I got offered the show and I wasn't going to take it because I just didn't care. And then the guitarist that was the original guitarist for Johnny Incognito's last gig with us, the bass player's last gig with us. Guitar player had already quit because he was an asshole. It was his final show that would have been, and I was like, "Okay, confirm." And I confirmed the show, and we intentionally sold no tickets. We didn't tell people to come to the show. I think we played for the other bands, but the other bands included the Tourettes. So that's how I originally met Philly and Taco.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Shit.
That's another band. If you're looking for some fun punk rock that really will agitate you on a personal level, but is fun as hell, check out a band called the Tourettes. The album is called what is it? It's not He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. It's something like that. Yeah, I can't think of the name of it for the life of me. But the Tourettes, they're from Calgary. They're a lot of fun. Not necessarily the most progressive-minded punk band, but fun.
Shadowed Mage pokes his head in. What's up, Shadow? Shadow, this is Jim. He is pretty much the best promoter in Calgary. He's part of the Calgary Beer Corps. Because of Jim, my band has a career. That's basically what we're saying here tonight.
I feel like that's probably not entirely accurate. I would say that your band has a career because you're fantastic, and we were happy to be there for whenever you guys needed us.
Well, that
a show in Calgary.
It's a question Mr. Wright asks. He says, DJ, how often do you play Calgary? So I'm going to throw that to you, assuming no pandemic. How often did we come through?
I at a guess, I'd say like at least 3 or 4 times a year. Like there were times, I'm sure, where we had you like almost monthly. I think 3 or 4 times a year is like a solid. Yeah, that's probably a safe bet. Yeah. Obviously, last year you guys didn't fucking come.
The funny thing is though, is like we had legitimate talks. This is not blowing smoke. We had legitimate talks in the band about, we knew the album was coming, and we were talking about planning a CD release and the whole thing because the pandemic wasn't a thing yet. And we were like, okay, let's do our CD release in Calgary. I'll get Mark and Jim on the phone. I'll tell them what's up. I was going to send you guys like the press kits. We had hired John Asher. We had like the whole nine. I was like, John knows everybody and everybody knows John. This is going to be copacetic as all hell. It'd be dope. I'll be like, hey, Jim and Mark, we're going to do a tour. Do you want a radius clause with us or whatever? And for anybody who doesn't know, a radius clause is a band agreeing with the promoters booking them in the town that within a certain radius of kilometers or miles, we won't play another town, which is like ruining their draw. It's just a very respectable thing you can do if you like the promoter, right? We're not going to play 20 minutes down the road the next night, But it was insane, and we were like, let's just do our CD release in Calgary, because when we show up on a random Tuesday night in Calgary, it's a banger and it's a lot of fun. And all of you guys, like, the thing about Calgary that's always so messed to me, and it sucks because some of the names of the people are escaping me, but I remember. I only know him online as like Montana.
Monty?
Yeah. The guy that like, hey, this guy comes up to me, and we see him in Edmonton. I feel like it was Edmonton. Might have been. Yeah. And then we saw him in Red Deer like 2 nights later, and we're like, hey. He's like, hey guys. And then we were playing in Calgary the night after Red Deer, and he shows up and he's like, hey, so I basically almost died because I did like $1.60 because I had a nap and I forgot that you guys were playing. So I made an hour and a half drive in 35 minutes. Hey guys.
Yes, that sounds exactly like him. Oh my god.
Like, you want to talk about the dude was like messed up from a car accident, and he was still front row of the pit with his cane, losing his mind. I remember saying on the mic once, going like, "Dude, I feel like this is not good for your rehab or your insurance claim, but I appreciate the effort."
Yep.
Like, dude, I just and I remember like we dedicated a song to you because it was your birthday, and it was a brand new one. And I remember you just being like half cut at the bar and like giving me the most satisfying like, because which was you saying you liked the song, and I remember being like, yeah, we just wrote this, and like Jim is it was good times. Or we did a Meshuggah cover, and we just hit it in a song. We just hit it, and you caught it, and a lot of people weren't catching it. And I remember you being like, "You motherfucker!" Like you actually.
It feels like it would have been like one of those.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
I know what you done.
That was good. That was good. If anybody has more questions, please ask in the chat. I'll ask Jim directly for you. We're just hanging out, two old friends, and Jim's a badass human, guys. Ask him some deets.
I'm a Virgo. For all I know, that everyone's like kind of worried about asking, but I am a Virgo.
He is a Virgo.
Yeah, which is an air sign, or I mean, it could be. I don't fucking know. not really a classically trained astrologer.
Oh man. Oh, people are asking about Calgary bands. They know. Like someone's mentioned Cobra and the Lotus. I didn't know they were from Calgary specifically.
I think they are. They're not a band I ever worked with or anything like that. I think Big Nate booked them a couple times. I think they are a Calgary band, but I don't think of them as a Calgary band because I can't think of them coming up or anything like that. I don't really know the band, but like or their music or anything. Like I'm very out of touch with them.
Yeah, I actually have low key beef with them, so I'll just keep the conversation moving.
Cool. Sounds good.
That's for when the stream's off. I'll fill you in, Jim. It's pretty good. Shadow Mage wants to know your favorite color that isn't black.
My favorite color that isn't black? I'm gonna go with blue.
Okay.
Because of my beautiful eyes.
Aww. Yes, blue is the color of his eyes as he's looking deep into your soul, John Morgan.
These eyes are crying.
At least you didn't do that behind blue eyes thing.
Oh God, yes. No, we're not going down that road.
What about Scythia?
Scythia is phenomenally good metal band. I've seen them several times. It's been a year plus since I've been at like a metal show, and I'm really struggling. I know them ish. I wouldn't say like, I don't know if they could pick me out on the street, and I don't know if I could pick them out on the street, but I'm sure that we've booked them, and I know that I've seen them a few times. Nothing in my head says, "Oh, say something bad right now." So that's a good thing. But all you metal people look the same.
Their guitar player's Dave, right? I feel like that's his name.
I think so, but I'm not certain. I meet so many people, and like especially when I was bartending and promoting and everything, like you just get to a point where there's no more room in here for names. Fair. So you just start like going, okay, well you don't have a name, but you're person who plays guitar in Scythia or what have you, and Fair. and then eventually they're like trying to get you to say their name, and they realize you don't know it, and you should.
For sure.
It's the worst.
Eric's taking off for the night. Thanks for joining us, Eric. Absolutely, my friend. We are doing this again soon. John Morgan wants to know what makes a good venue in Calgary.
What makes a good venue in Calgary is when the city closes you down too early or too soon in your existence. That's a little bit of sass there. Honestly, one of the things I love about Calgary is we're not as big as you mighty Vancouverites. It's a city of like 1.3 million or something like that. So, not a tiny place, but not the sprawling super metropolis. So our music scene is always like, there's always new venues that pop up and go away, and rooms that you wouldn't expect to play in that pop up and go away. In my mind, there's a core of about 5 venues from like a punk metal kind of perspective. and they're all so very different and so thoroughly enjoyable for their own charms. Vern's, Clint is the charm at Vern's. That's they couldn't afford more.
Clint is an interesting character because if you've never played Vern's, you hear rumors of Clint. And we played Vern's the first time, and he just screamed at me, "Hey, Ginger!" And we just played, and I just walked over. I was like, "Hello?" And he's like, "I'm Clint." And in my head, I'm like, "Ah, shit, here it comes!" Like this is everything. And he just kind of did this, like, I like you. I like what you just did. Have a shot. And for those of you that don't know me, I don't drink, so I'm like, "Thanks, man, Healy." Trying to pass it off to somebody.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've hit a place in my life. I still drink, but I find that if I do a shot, I just want to never have food in my system again. So I've taken to, like, I'll have the occasional one, but generally, like, if I go to Vern's, I've been for a couple of DJ sets and things in the last little while, so that's been fun.
Yeah, actually, I want to say, guys, find Big Jim on Twitch and stuff because he streams DJ sets. Is it Saturdays?
Well, the DJ sets are a little more random, and they're literally just like whenever Clint has a spot that nothing's fit in. When I say streams DJ stuff, I don't mean like. I mean, like, local Calgary punk, metal, rock and roll, rockabilly, psychobilly, whatever we can do. Anyways, so back to the question. I feel like all of the venues are uniquely charming. If I was to say what we're missing right now, it would be so we have a bar called Dickens. That's I think they've got like a 500 capacity, but that's only because you only check your capacity when you start your brand new bar, and every time, like every second of the day, they're changing that algorithm to shrink it so that you have less and less bodies in a bar. Like when Distortion, our capacity was 180. You've seen that room. It's a huge room.
Yeah. Capacity.
It was originally, if I remember correctly, it was originally 178. We actually like begged the city to come back. Like this has got to be wrong. And they had told us, like, if you take these tables out and everything, all this stuff. So we did it all. The guy goes through, does the math, and he's like, "Yep, we'll bump you up to 170." Like, ooh, 2 more people. Anyways, Dickens has a 500 capacity, and it's a great room. I want to have a venue that we could play that would be that one step up, 1,000 or 800 or something like that. That just for those shows, like, if Without Mercy was doing a CD release party, I'd want to have something where I've got some space for some bodies.
You're bad for the ego, Jim.
Well, I'm good for the hearts.
Ah, shucks. Oh, man. What do we got here? I am near New York City, so view is a bit skewed. Yeah, I feel you, John. What is the biggest show you've booked for this summer, if any?
I haven't booked anything. Mark has announced that he thinks he has a show booked, and I know what the show is, but it's not announced yet. It's not a big show. We're not a promoting company that fly in the heavyweights or anything. We're like, we've worked with some pretty significant bands. In fact, COVID starting right when it did cost us a show we had booked with the Dwarves, and the following week, I think, we had a Dayglow Abortion show. So like that was fun to be like, "Hey guys, pandemic."
Wow. I'm sure the chat does want to know like who are some of the big bands you booked.
Well, I booked the Mentors knowing that there was no way they would play the show. They would be the band I probably would have personally invested most of my money into if they had made it, but I knew they wouldn't make it, and I didn't want them to make it. And my buddy was touring with them, and I knew he'd make it, and I was like, I'll take that show. I'll take that action. They didn't make it across the border. I didn't have to pay them the gigantic sum of money. It was good, and my buddy came. Bigger bands we've booked like DOA. Actually, we had Joey Shithead do a Q&A one day, like before a show that he put on, which was super fantastic. That was like recent. It was at that the border crossing, which is I don't think we ever had you guys there. I don't think
border crossing doesn't ring a bell. No.
Yeah, I don't think you ever did. But yeah, it's a big it's a fairly big space, but it's not a very like welcoming space. So I'm not so. Anyway, sorry, I'm way off the point. Um, I'll tell you what I if I could book a show right now just featuring only Calgary bands. Sorry, DJ. That as far as I know are playing. I could say I'd probably want to grab. There's a rock band that would not fit this bill at all, but Dead Pixel deserves all the stage time they can get. And then I'd have, if I could do it, I'd get Black Pestilence, Jesus Chrysler, and Citizen Rage.
Citizen Rage is good. Is Pelican Death Squad still a thing?
As far as I know, no one knows who's in what bands. Even like I'm in bands, and I'm like, are we a band still? I don't know. COVID's been weird. But as far as I know, Pelican Death Squad is still a band. I think I was talking with Mark the other day, and he was saying that they were going to be jamming or something. So I think, but I could be wrong. Mark's in like 17 bands. He actually makes me look like a band prude. I'm only in 3.
Mark is an amazing human. I got to get him on this thing too if he'll have me.
Oh, he will. I guarantee you. Just be like, talk about Citizen Rage. And be like, okay. DJ, thanks for muting yourself. Here we go.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, you guys just talk amongst yourselves. I'll see you in a minute.
Yep.
Oh, man, this is great. Okay, my friend, I think I'm going to wind that down for now. The chat's
sounds good.
They're loving you, my friend. So,
well, I'm a lovable guy.
I concur. I concur. Thank you so much for giving the time like this, dude. It's
my pleasure, my friend. Anytime you need me, I'm here.
That's why. That's why. All right,
All
Jim.
right, brother.
You have a great night, my friend. Thank you.
You too.
Guys, that was my friend Jim. He likes to be called Big Ugly Jim. So, yeah, surprise. After, I'm going to say it's been months. That's what I'm going to say as I look over to my tech team over here, which is this one 19-year-old kid just stressing that something's not going to work. So it's fun to watch him stress. This is the surprise. We've been working for a long time to get us up and running, and you guys, Templars, are seeing it for the first time, us doing live interviews and hanging with some of the people I am so grateful I get to call friends. It's kind of ridiculous. Tonight we're joined by my buddy Mike Sands, who is a killer guitar player and session player predominantly out in Calgary. He does do a lot of like moving around and mini tours and stuff. Mike is a beast, and I hope, Mike, if you're watching this still, my friend, I know you said you had like 90 tunes you had to learn tonight, but I hope that you can come back and join us again and talk more guitar, because that was awesome. And of course, my longtime friend, Big Ugly Jim, who is one of the top promoters in the town of Calgary, the guy that when Without Mercy gets back on the road pretty soon, we're going to call him up right away. And Jim's always been so kind to us that we like to book shows around him. Like, what schedule do you need from us, Jim? And then we'll book a whole tour around it. Jim is amazing. Absolutely love that guy to death. And it's a cool way to give you guys kind of an insight into what it's like to be a band, and how do you get shows, and who does the work for you, and where do you go, and where do you stay, and how do you book a venue, if a venue, and who do you call if you want this city or that city, and arrange dates. I hope to get super into this with you guys and show you kind of a whole, remove the veil, I guess, is what I'm going for, so to speak, on that. So surprise on this one. I hope you guys liked it, and we're going to be doing this more and more regularly, and announcing some crazy guests is my ultimate goal. Jim might book the Alaska cruise. You guys are not going to let this Alaska cruise thing go. If we book it, we got to bring Jim. I think that's what has to happen. Jim's got to come onto this Alaskan cruise with us. He's an amazing human, and I'm smiling because I can't believe I know someone like that. Jim is a badass dude. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you very soon, and we'll figure